you can get one too. Just write a letter to Cottonelle.
And say what? Dear Cottonelle, your super soft toilet paper scratched up my ass?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Hacking Humans podcast, an occasional series we call Hacking Humans Goes to the Movies. I'm Dave Bittner, and joining me is my CyberWire colleague, Rick Howard. Hello, Rick.
Hey, Dave. Glad to be here.
On this show, Rick and I look at some of our favorite clips from cinema and television, clips which demonstrate some of the scams and schemes Joe Carrigan and I talk about over on Hacking Humans. We got some fun clips to share, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message from our show sponsor. Let's pause here for a word from our sponsor, Keeper. Imagine this scenario. You're out of the office unexpectedly, and a colleague pings you because they need access to some system you have credentials for. Now, our listeners would never send passwords over email or Slack, but what about your coworkers? How many organizations out there are sending logins back and forth in plain text? Worse yet, how many just store all their logins on a shared spreadsheet? We all know that human errors are the biggest threat to your organization's security, but did you know that weak or stolen passwords account for over 80% of all data breaches? There are tools out there that allow you to share credentials, set access permissions, and monitor the dark web for stolen logins. Keeper Security's enterprise password management platform does just that. Keeper locks down logins, payment cards, confidential documents, API keys, and database passwords in a patented zero-knowledge encrypted vault. And it takes less than an hour to deploy across your organization. Sign up for a Keeper free trial for your organization today and get a free 3-year personal plan. Stop sharing emails and spreadsheets with keys to the kingdom. Get started by visiting keepersecurity.com/hackinghumans. And we thank Keeper Security for sponsoring our show. Let me start out, Rick, by asking you this. Have you ever been a couponer? Are you familiar with couponing?
Oh, my goodness. Much to the chagrin of my lovely wife, who I can't seem to keep coupons straight. I either have them in a drawer and I forget to take them to the grocery store, or, I just don't know how to use them at the checkout stand. So I am not a great couponer, Dave, as you might guess.
I remember when I was a kid coming up and I'd go to the grocery store with my mom. And this was back in the days when my mom was, I think my mom was kind of that last generation of stay-at-home moms when that was the, when more moms were stay-at-home moms than not, which is, of course, is not the case anymore. But my mom had a little box with a 3x5 card box that was full of coupons. So we'd walk the aisles at the grocery store, and while we were going, she'd be going through her little box of coupons, pulling out the things that she had coupons for. And I don't know what drove which. I don't know if we ended up buying the things that she had coupons for or, using coupons for the things we bought. But anyway, I say all this because my clip this week comes from the 2021 comedy Queenpins, which is a play off of the word... Do you?
Yeah.
It's a play off the word Kingpins. This is a film starring Kristen Bell and Kirby Howell-Baptiste. And Vince Vaughn has a supporting role in this. He's probably the other most well-known person in this film. Yeah. Kristen Bell plays a woman named Connie Kaminsky, and she is a married woman. She's pretty frustrated. She's unemployed. She recently suffered a miscarriage, so things are not going well for her. She's
this
in
is
deep
a comedy,
debt.
Right, Dave? It's a comedy, right?
It actually is, but that's the setup for why for why she goes down this path. She is deep in debt because her husband and she have been spending a lot of money on fertility treatments. So, of course, suffering the miscarriage is a big setback because they spent a lot of money on this, and also their hopes were high because they had some success of getting pregnant, before the miscarriage. So Connie is an avid user of coupons when she shops, and they have scenes in this film where she's saving hundreds of dollars at the grocery store, so much to the point where she's that person who annoys the checker and everyone else in line behind her because she has several dozen coupons. Several dozen coupons, and so it just takes forever. So on one particularly bad day, she finds that she got a stale box of breakfast cereal from the store, And she writes the company a letter, and mostly just to vent, to get it off of her chest. And the company sends her a coupon for a free box of cereal. And that is when the light bulb goes off in her head. She starts writing letters to all kinds of companies about all kinds of products that she never actually bought. And the companies send her coupons for free replacement of what she claimed were defective products. So these are coupons.
Sounds legit. Sounds
well,
legit.
and these are coupons that are not like $1 off or 50% off. These are coupons for a free whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take us on a little side story here because this actually happened to me once.
Okay.
I don't even know if you remember, probably 20 years ago, the Scrubbing Bubbles brand?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, that is a well-known brand. I have to say, again, when I was a child, I was disappointed when my mom bought a can of the Scrubbing Bubbles spray, and I couldn't wait for her to use it on the bathtub because I thought the little animated guys were going to come out and start scrubbing the tub, and of course, it was just a foaming spray. And I lost a little of my innocence that day.
Well, Dave, we use Scrubbing Bubbles as a secret code word when I was a second lieutenant in the Army. When everybody was, you've been in the field for a month and you haven't had a shower and stuff, the lieutenants would get on the radio and yell, Scrubbing Bubbles, and we'd all sneak away to the local shower so we'd get away from everything. So.
Okay, good to know. So the Scrubbing Bubbles folks, they used to sell this product. It was this gadget that you would hang off of your shower head.
Oh, yeah.
And it had this tank of liquid, and you put batteries in it, and you'd press a button, and at the bottom of this, a little wheel would spin around, and it would spray the shower with this cleaning liquid, right? And the idea was that you take your shower, and on your way out, you'd hit this button. The shower would get sprayed with this stuff, and then you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like soap scum and black mold and all that kind of stuff. So it was just a decent gadget. I have learned that it has since been discontinued. You can still buy one new in box for a couple $100 on eBay if you want to. I don't why you would want to for a $20 device. I don't know.
Sounds like I need it. Sounds like it.
Yeah, well, I thought I needed one too. In fact, I thought I needed one for every single bathroom in my house like 20 years ago. And I bought one and it didn't work. It was just DOA right out of the box.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
Yeah. So I want to say I got on the phone with the Scrubbing Bubbles people. This just tells you how long ago this was.
Yeah.
And I explained, I said, do you want me to ship this back to you? Do you want me to take it back to the store? And they said, no, we will send you a coupon for a replacement.
Oh, okay.
And so a couple days later in the mail, sure enough, I got this very fancy coupon. I remember it was a big coupon. The other thing I remember about it is it had that holographic printing around the edge, the stuff that's really hard to copy. So it had that on it. And then I remember taking it to my local grocery store where I could buy one of these things and going up to the line, and the checker wasn't quite sure what to make of it because this is a coupon worth $20, right? And so we got in this discussion of like, well, do I have to pay the tax and this, that, and the other thing? Anyway.
Oh my God, yeah.
Long story short, too late, I know. I got the Scrubbing Bubbles thing replaced, but this is how I learned about these kinds of coupons. So back to the movie. In the scene I'm going to play here, Connie brings in her friend JoJo Johnson, who is also struggling financially, and she shows her the collection of high-value coupons that she has collected by writing letters to all of these different companies. And she has all of these coupons laid out on her dining room table. Here's the clip.
Okay, don't peek. Okay. Okay, open.
What? No. Connie, you told me you wrote that letter because your cereal was stale.
Yeah.
So, what, the whole fucking house is gone stale?
Not exactly.
Oh, shit. You got Continental Ultra?
Yeah.
You got 36 family rolls for free.
Can I just say I really like Kristen Bell?
Well, you can get one too. Just write a letter to Cottonelle.
And say what? Dear Cottonelle, your super soft toilet paper scratched up my ass? Please, they're not gonna believe me.
Or better yet, just pay me for the coupon.
Okay.
Actually, how much would you pay me for this Cottonelle coupon? Would you pay maybe half of what it's worth?
$20? Yeah. Why not?
So you'd give me $20 for this coupon that I got for free. That's quite a profit, don't you think? Imagine if we got more of these and we sold them to people for half. That'd be a real business.
How is that a real business? Even if you wanted to, how would you ever get enough to sell?
I think I know where we can get them in bulk.
And so it
A
begins.
scam. Yeah. A scam is beginning.
Right. So this sets into motion an elaborate scheme where these two ladies actually head down to Mexico to find where the coupons are being printed. They bribe a worker to smuggle coupons out of the print shop, and they set up an online shop to sell the coupons at a reduced price. So people can buy these coupons and pretty much they can pay half price for the stuff they need at the grocery store. The business takes off, and soon the ladies have another problem, which is how to launder all the money that they've made because they're just taking in hundreds of thousands of dollars as this thing becomes popular. Eventually, there's a loss prevention agent from a local grocery store who tries to track them down, and he teams up with a postal inspector who's played by Vince Vaughn.
Another
This
of my
film,
favorites.
yeah. You know, I'm not a real big Vince Vaughn fan. I have to say his popularity eludes me. I don't begrudge you, Rick, for liking him, but it just doesn't click with me. So that's,
I remember the first time I realized he could act. It was in one of the Jurassic Park movie sequels, right? And it was just a little scene where he was telling the captain of the ship that, there's monsters on that island. And I was like, oh, this guy's going to be big, right? And
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So this film is inspired by real-world events, and so inspired means basically they got the idea and then changed everything. But
Sure, yeah.
there was a team of coupon counterfeiters from around 2010, and they also got rich doing this, and eventually they got caught and they went to jail. A couple of interesting elements to this from the real part of the story is that the companies who were being scammed here, who were being scammed out of the counterfeit coupons, they weren't particularly interested in putting a whole lot of effort into tracking these ladies down. Because from their point of view, they'd rather sweep it under the rug, just have it be a cost of doing business than shine a light on it. And I wonder how much did they not want people to know, or the news coverage that, first of all, there are free coupons for the asking if you're a prolific letter writer, but also that this in the age of color photocopiers and color laser printers and Photoshop, it's not that hard to make up counterfeit coupons.
It sounds very similar to the ransomware decision you had to make. Do you pay the guys off or not, right? And is it cost of doing business that or do you try to work through it, right? So it's kind of in a similar vein.
This movie, by the way, did not do well. It made about $1.2 million on a budget of $20 million.
Yikes!
So,
yikes!
Yeah,
and it should have. It had some heavy star power. Should have done well. It had all the makings of it.
It seems like maybe one of those movies you fire up on Amazon or Netflix when you're on a snow day or something,
or when you're doing laundry.
Exactly right, exactly. Entertaining, and I'm sure there are some good laughs, throughout it. The scenes that I've seen.
I watched the trailer. Of this before we did this one, right? And there's a scene where the local police guy who's really trying to nab these women, right? He brings in the SWAT team to break down their house. These guys are all worked up with all, we're going to go in and we're going to take these girls down and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, they're what? They're coupon fraudsters? Maybe we're going a little too hot.
Right. Yeah. Well,
so it sounds like it should be good.
Well, yes, but the trailer always makes it sound good.
That's true. That's true.
It's the art of the trailer. All right, that is my clip this week. Again, the movie is called Queenpins, and I believe you can find it on most of the streaming services. Rick, what do you got for us?
All right, so my clip this week comes from the 2003 movie called Confidence. It's directed by James Foley, probably most famous for the 1992 David Mamet movie Glengarry Glen Ross, and starring Ed Burns, and he's probably most famous to our audience for Saving Private Ryan, and Rachel Weisz, probably most famous to our audience for The Mummy, and she also played Scarlett Johansson's mom in Marvel's Black Widow last year. And by the way, we featured her on Hacking Humans Goes to the Movies a couple episodes ago when we covered the Brothers Bloom a few episodes back. So be familiar with that. So the story's about how Ed Burns and his crew pull off a successful long con, only to find out later that the money they took belonged to the biggest crime boss in L.A., played by Dustin Hoffman. And then Hoffman finds out and presses Burns to pull a bigger con on one of his enemies as a payback. This scene is Burns testing Rachel Weisz on whether or not she is good enough to be part of his crew. Now, remember, she's doing this cold with no prep, and that's why he's testing her. And then one last thing, in the scene, Burns looks like $1 million. He's fit, well-groomed, and by just looking at him, he gives off the impression that he is swimming in money. So we start with Burns pulling Weisz into a jewelry store, and then on the counter is one of the great That Guy actors, Robert Pine. So run the clip.
All right.
What you're looking for in a mark is someone who's got nothing to lose. No friends, no family, no life. You're looking for a guy who doesn't own a rug.
Oh, yeah, he's perfect. You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Ashby was the right mark. Now I needed to see if Lily was the right shill.
Let me read this.
So I tested her.
1 watch engraved to Carolyn. Happy graduation, counselor. Love, Mom and Dad.
Good.
Excuse me, I think you have something on hold for me.
Do you have a ticket?
I don't. I lost it, but the name is Hanson.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Mr. Lewis, right?
Yes?
Yeah, Jake Hanson. I go to law school with your daughter, Carolyn. We met a couple of times before.
Oh.
So, Dave, pause it right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, first thing, Burns claims that he knows Pine. He sells it so completely that Pine, even though he doesn't remember Burns, goes along with the story. So that's kind of like the first con going on here.
Do you think he actually met him, or is that totally conning him?
Oh, that's totally BS. Yeah, totally
Okay,
BS.
got it. All right.
All right,
Okay,
so run it.
good.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, too. You remember Lily? This beautiful woman is my wife. Lily, this is Carolyn's father.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Pleasure, I'm sure. So, what brings you down from Stanford? Taking advantage of the long weekend, huh?
Yeah, we're,
It's our first anniversary.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's great. Carolyn's down for the weekend, too.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Look, maybe you could do me a favor then. We split the cost on a couple of books last semester, and I never got an opportunity to pay her back. I'll just write you a check.
Sure.
There's nothing for Hanson. If we had a ticket, I could check the computer.
But yesterday, my wallet and my wife's purse were stolen, and the ticket was in my wallet. Maybe you could just check again.
Where did this happen?
Well, we're staying at the Peninsula, and I think it might have been the housekeeping staff. Well, Jake has a little more faith in humanity than I do, so he hates me saying it, but I think it's true.
Well, you have to be so careful these days.
You sure do. Honey, I'm just gonna go and break out a wallet. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Here you are, Mr. Lewis.
Good.
I'm sorry, sir. Still nothing.
Really?
May I ask what it was?
Yeah. It's a shame. It was a pair of diamond earrings. You know, actually, it's just like those.
We have those in stock.
Oh, great. Let me write you a check. And...
Only with proper ID.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But like I just explained to you, my wallet was... Look, this is sort of a very special day for my wife and I. It being our first anniversary. And
Dave, pause it there.
we
All right.
at the pickup zone. My...
So, okay, watching this is so painful, all right? Burns is showing how embarrassed he is that he can't pay for this item, and he just milks the pain. And that guy, actor Pine, he is vicariously soaking it all in, right? And so that's how the con is working. I just love it. All right, keep rolling.
Yeah, the other thing that strikes me here is how he establishes rapport with the other guy by saying, "Can I write you a check for these books?
Yeah.
I never got to pay your daughter back, but I'm such a good guy. I could have gotten away with that, but let me write you a check right now." And so that, of course, builds trust with the father.
And the other one too is she tells the that guy actor that she thought it was the housing staff that stole the wallet, right? And he her husband doesn't like to think that way, that people are generally good. It builds him up in his eyes, right? So, little subtle touches there. Yeah.
He's the good guy.
He's the good guy. Exactly right.
Yeah. All right.
Well, she thinks we're here to pick up something for my mother, but I wanted to surprise her with something special. So if you think you could make an exception today, I mean, just this one time.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Please tell Carolyn I said hello and pass that on to her.
I sure will.
Of course, it was good to see you again.
Good to see you. Look, Jake, why don't you write me a check and let me put the earrings on my credit card? Is that all right with you?
If you would be willing to do that, that would be great.
Good. Please.
And the hook is set.
I love it. I love it. So this guy, the father is going to pay for the diamond earrings. The guy's going to write him a bouncy check.
Yep.
And
by the way, the
so
bouncy check also for the textbooks that are non-existent. All right. So
right,
yeah.
Right. Now, what do we think about? Do we know about the pretext here? About how? Did this guy actually know this guy's daughter, or was that just some research he did? Or
no, this was
idea?
totally on the fly. All right, he made it up on, which I really love that about this particular scene. Remember, I said at the beginning, he's testing Rachel Weisz and whether or not she's good enough to be part of his crew. Right. So this is a test. So he just made this up. And totally reacting to the situation as it unfolds, right? And so I kind of like that, yeah. And by the way, it's such a simple scam, right? It's if it works, it's simple. He goes in, recognizes the guy, talks him up, fakes like he knows him, and then in 15 minutes he's walking out the door with money. All right, so I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's the name of the movie there again, Rick?
The movie's called Confidence, and it came out in 2003.
All right, well, check it out. We want to thank our sponsor, Keeper Security, for helping make this episode possible. Cybersecurity starts with password security. Password security starts with Keeper. All right, well, that is our show. We want to thank all of you for listening. The Hacking Humans podcast is proudly produced in Maryland at the startup studios of Data Tribe, where they're co-building the next generation of cybersecurity teams and technologies. Our senior producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Peter Kilpie. I'm Dave Bittner.
And I'm Rick Howard.
Thanks for listening.